So that was a lie.
Yeah, but you see, it does count because
They caught us on a technicality.
with 8 seconds left to go, they fire the catapults.
Like, I know they want it to count from when the horn gets blown. Like, that's the start of the invasion. No. The battle starts when the catapult fires the thing, which is the last 10 seconds of the episode.
They don't even hit. I thought they would at least knock down the city, but
Yeah.
yeah, you called it. It was just, it hit us instead as the audience, and we cut the credits.
But whoa. We're getting ahead of ourselves. That's way too exciting
that's the
for
last
this
10
show.
seconds.
Let's talk about the boring slop that happened for the other 55 minutes.
Well, basically, if you've seen last episode, you've seen this episode.
But last episode just kind of reminded me of the episode before it.
Oh no.
And the 3 before that.
They really don't change anything. I think that's the biggest problem is we're cutting between everyone because we think we're Game of Thrones and that we need to have 6 storylines going on. The blurb for the episode tells you there's going to be 4 people in it, like 4 storylines. They say, Galadriel considers a proposition, Elendil faces judgment, the stranger finds himself at a crossroads, Sauron's plans bear fruit. I guess that stuff happened.
No. I think you're mistaken. Nothing actually happens in this episode.
But no, we also get Nori. We also get Arondir.
The stranger's story is tied into...
They're not. That's the worst part of it. I know that's what they want, but that's the worst part. Because in Game of Thrones, you had Jon Snow in the north, but his dad was in the south. So you're like, wow, direct connection. Like you had one family group split up, and that was kind of the dynamic.
Gandalf / the stranger needs to choose between his destiny of being a great magical man and being friends with the hobbits.
Yeah, which isn't really what I thought Gandalf was for. I thought Gandalf's whole thing was that he couldn't intervene, and that was like half his drama. Like, he's like, oh, I can help.
Yeah.
Like, I can help you do this thing.
Well, he doesn't know that yet.
Oh, that's right, because he lost his memory.
Maybe.
Because I think that's why Sauron has to do all the bringer of gift things. Because if he's not sneaky, the god will be like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
What are you doing down there? So he has to be cheeky about it until like the very end when he has his power. And we barely get to see him because we get Nori for 2 minutes.
Well, even the stranger we only get... We get for less than that.
We get one conversation.
Let me knock out the strangers / Nori's story real quick. So the stranger is hanging out with Tom Bombadil, and he has a bit of a glimpse of something. And so Tom Bombadil speaks in his riddles again, and he says, the flames of the fire show us this and that. You know, it's all about how we interpret. And then he literally takes Gandalf to a big orchard of dead trees, and he goes, you know, go find your staff when your heart tells you when it's right. He's like, but I could spend months in here. And he's like, yep, you're immortal. You can do whatever you want.
And it's just so boring. Like, why do I care if Gandalf gets his staff? Because, again, he's never met Sauron. We thought he was Sauron for a bit, but now he's being chased by other people completely disconnected.
Because he keeps dreaming about it. He's like, this is important to me, and this is going to help me remember / become who I am.
We didn't see any Dark Wizard. With Nori's storyline, all we got was her friend Poppy makes out with nobody, and then she talks to their leader about his dead wife.
I buried my Schneevel under that tree.
I'm like, cool. Like, we just don't need it. It's already such a cluttered show. Like, there's already, like I said, 7 storylines going on. We don't need to touch on everything every episode, which means we just get less than 20 minutes per storyline. This might as well be like a Marvel TV show that runs for 20 minutes and we get a character of the week. Like, it's just so pointless. The direction that they've been trying to talk about this season is that we're going to go have this big battle, but like, what's the outcome of the battle? Like, what's the most interesting thing that can happen apart from that there is a battle?
Sauron will have a one-on-one fight with Adar, and then he's going to get his revenge on him. I imagine in almost the same way that he killed him. He's going to like maybe kill him with the crown.
He does have his fight with Galadriel with the crown involved in the trailer.
But then when he kills him, then he's going to take over the army.
Yeah, true, he has to.
That's what'll happen.
So that's this episode, he gets his army.
Maybe.
Because I guess we are trying to head toward the battle where Isildur takes his fingers. Like, that's what we're building up to. Which made me think the other day was, shouldn't this be a show about Isildur?
Yes. It should be about him becoming like a man and learning honor and respect.
This shouldn't be everyone's storylines. We don't need everyone's storylines. This should be a focused show. They don't make focused shows anymore. Like, everything is an ensemble.
Damn you, Game of Thrones, for ruining everything.
It really did. Like, everything is now an ensemble cast. Even, like, The Mandalorian, we get episodes of The Mandalorian about other people. Like it's now everything's now a team. The Flash did it as well back in the day in the CW. Arrow started off like, oh, it's this one guy doing Arrow vigilante stuff, and then he gets one friend, and then he gets another friend, and I think by season 5, it's a team of people. It's way more forgivable in a show like Arrow where you do have to fill 24 episodes in a season. It's like, okay, you're gonna have to resort to some bullshit. Whereas this is 8 episodes. Like, how can you not just write 8 episodes about Isildur, who is a human man, so we're going to get more connection with him because he's a human. He's not a 4,000-year-old demigod. Because, like, we can't connect with anybody in this show.
We haven't seen him in 2 episodes.
Yeah, we saw him get rescued by his horse and then kiss a girl.
Oh, wait, he was in last episode. He gets swallowed by a worm.
Yeah, but then he says goodbye.
And he gets cucked by some criminal kisses his criminal girlfriend.
Because there's so many storylines. In an episode where we get 7 different storylines, they still don't have room for Isildur, probably the most influential character in the entire show for the world.
Well, it's like even in the original Lord of the Rings movies, it's the first story you see is how he defeated.
He's the prologue. They're like, we need to set up this insane world. Like Lord of the Rings, where you've got gods, angels, wizards, angels that become wizards. There's so much shit going on. They're like, we made a bunch of rings and this dude cut some guy's fingers off. Here's a hobbit.
But then he also has like a through line to like, he has like a connection with Elrond. He has a connection with the ring itself. He has a connection with
Aragorn
and Boromir and stuff.
Yeah, whereas in this, they're just like, I guess his girlfriend is already married. Wouldn't that be crazy? Back to the super exciting storylines.
Well, we see 1 second of Arondir. He's stalking some orcs. Actually, he's running really fast.
Stalking some storks?
And then he finds 3 orcs and just kills them in a lovely fashion and then finds a map.
He's so pointless now. His function in season 1, at least he had one.
Yeah.
His function was, oh, I discover the orc threat. I discover the tunnels running through Mordor. Like, that's what he did. Whereas in this season, he's just running around.
Well, in the first half of season 1, he was almost the most important character because he was the first line of defense to the resurrection of evil / Sauron.
He was the underdog because everyone in town was racist and didn't care about him. He had a love interest that he couldn't have because the people didn't love him. And he had a stepson that didn't love him. But they killed off the wife between seasons because she didn't want to come back. And yeah, now he's just running around.
Yeah.
And he's gonna rock up at the battle because he's also going to be doing cool elf flips.
Well, he's going to rock up last minute on an Ent.
Oh, they're going to explain how the Entwise will die? Like, that'll be part of this. That's like, oh, they got killed in the battle.
Sorry. The Galadriel and her gothic boyfriend.
Oh, you just want to talk about Galadriel considering a proposition. It's literally the conversation they had at the end of last episode, but blown out to 5 minutes.
He's like, Hellbrand is Sauron. And she just like beats around the bush a bunch.
Yeah, like, he explains to her who he is and says that he killed Sauron.
Their scenes were particularly boring.
Especially because they're sitting in a dark room. Like, that doesn't help. That's not exciting.
It's a dark room, so nothing's happening in the room. So you're just focused on the actors who are both doing a bad job, talking about bad dialogue in this bad story world.
And it's, once again, just 2 people talking in a room about stuff that we don't care about.
It's like, oh, you know, I killed him once. It's like, well, obviously you didn't. And he's like, well, I didn't have you before. And I'm like, what's that supposed to mean?
They kind of set up that the crown can kill Sauron because it had the Silmarils in it and it was reforged.
Yes, it's Morgoth's crown.
She is going to have to use that to kill him, I guess.
Just don't let him turn into Venom. Or just when he turns to Venom, kill him again.
There's almost nothing to that until the end where we get a hint of where the season's going because Galadriel has the epiphany that Sauron is so clever, just so damn clever, that he planned on getting all of the orcs to attack Eregion because then he can, I guess, kill Adar and take over.
Or at least just take the armies for himself. But thing is, what did they have under Sauron that they don't have now? Because right now the orcs are like, we want healthcare and, you know, free childcare for our orc children.
Yeah, so him killing Adar, they're just going to be like, hey, that was our friend, you fuck. They know they can kill him. They could just gang up on him again, right?
Okay, so you've done a really good job by showing them turning against the person they inevitably end with.
It's like when the ants beat up Kang, the Conqueror, and they're like, Kang's really scary. And it's like, no, we know the orcs can just kick the shit out of him.
Yeah.
We saw it happen.
Adar actually cares for these orcs. You see it from the first time you meet him. He's like,
My children.
He's like, my children, they call him father. They love him. And so you're like, oh, wow, orcs are people. And then you're going to have them all turn to Sauron because obviously fear.
I think that's what it's meant to be.
That's what it's meant to be. Then you can't paint the orcs as wanting to be guided into like loving arms that care for them, because we never seen that before and we never got that before because it didn't exist before you wrote it for these characters now.
Maybe he could use the One Ring to control them. Like maybe that's what they're going to go with. But we're hopefully nowhere near the One Ring. Because Celebrimbor, we finally get the Celebrimbor scene we wanted 3 or 4 weeks ago, where he's like struggling to make the rings.
Yeah.
Because the rings can't be easy to make.
I don't know. They've made 10 so far.
There's at least scraps. So I'm like, oh, cool. They've made it hard to make the rings.
He should be like doing the finer things, but he can't quite get the ring shape right. Like, you know when Michael Tucci's like, why does it keep looking like Megatron? He's like, why does this keep looking like the One Ring? Even though he doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah.
Why does this ring always end up turning evil? Like, look, why does this shit look evil?
Yeah. He's had literally no trouble at all forging the other rings. Like the first 3 he forged while Galadriel had a chat with Sauron, and Celebrimbor forged those 3 rings in that time frame. She gets back and she's like, oh fuck, like you did that? That's crazy. And then the 7 rings for the dwarves. He takes the mithril, drops it into a big swirly thing, and then there's suddenly 7 rings.
That's using the same recipe. It's because he touched on it so slightly in the last one that
I don't buy it.
The ones for the men need to be more powerful and a different mixture.
I don't buy it.
They need a different combination of mithril to make it so they can be corrupted less.
You know why I think it is? It's because they needed the dwarven storyline to be about greed. So what they did was they made the dwarf rings so that storyline could happen. But then they're like, oh, fuck, we're not ready for the end.
If we made all of the rings at once, the show would be over.
We're not ready for that yet. We need to do that in season 3.
The next season has to be about
make
the
it
men's
hard.
rings.
Make the rings not possible. That is why.
But yeah, you see Celebrimbor and he's toiling away with his smiths, but he can't seem to just get the subscribe button right.
But then we don't see him really making any rings for the rest of it. And it's not that the rings are hard that is what's frustrating him. He's not like a master craftsman trying his best and getting like lost in his work. He's very obviously under Sauron's influence already.
It's more just gaslighting.
He's got like Alzheimer's because of Sauron.
I hated it.
He's hypnotized. He's like, oh, I'm not myself. I'm forgetting where my hammer is. And he's like, you mean that hammer?
And he's like,
oh my goodness, my hammer.
Slow pan.
Yeah, so instead of him being sunk into his work and wanting it to be perfect for his own reasons, it definitely feels like he's being hypnotized, which just makes him more boring.
I really, really hate watching his smiths turn against him because Galadriel's men ventured and journeyed with her for 1,000 years. These smiths were at work for maybe a day or 2.
And he's known as the greatest of all elven smiths.
And he's like, we're going to be working tirelessly to get this done. And then it's like they were working for 1 or 2 days because you can't tell me more than that has passed.
Time isn't real in this show.
The orcs were just outside the town in the last time we saw it.
They've been outside the town for 6 episodes now.
All because Anatar is maybe sexing up that blonde one.
He's got the riz. Anatar says that Celebrimbor's going a bit crazy because he's putting himself into his work. And his idea for helping that is to just let him sink into madness. And everyone's like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that's a really good idea, I think. And then one girl's like, oh, maybe I should go ask him. And he's like, nah, baby girl, don't worry about it. It's just,
do you trust me?
I need you to trust me. I need you to do this really big task. Can you just make everyone else trust me? Please. They're all talking behind my back.
Wow, this guy really is the master manipulator. He's the lord of the entire town.
Yes, he's like mayor of Eregion.
Yes. You don't think anybody would have been like, quick, my lord, we must go when they're under siege. Or no one went to his tower when they were under siege to get him?
They did, but Anatar was there and he's like, oh no, he's already left. He does the exact same thing that he did every other episode this season. He's like, I can't make these rings. And then Anatar's like, you should probably make the rings. And he's like, all right, I'll make the rings.
Damn, I guess I'm going to have to make these rings. But they get a message from the orcs, which is...
not how you invade somewhere.
No, they just write on a guy, where is he?
Where is he?
Where is he?
Tell me where he is.
Where are the Cimmerils?
Where are the rings of power?
They carve it onto a guy.
Which again is funny because they're like, no, the orcs are family men. Stop thinking about it.
Carve it into that orc. Carve it into that elf.
This orc is carved into a man and Arondir murdered 3 of them. But then they're also like, no, Family man.
You know, paper works as well, guys. No, carve it into him.
That means the orcs can write.
Also, they're putting a lot of confidence into his supple elven body that it'll just stay nice and tight to deliver that message.
They did send multiple men and they only sent one back. So maybe they had multiple failed attempts.
Well, don't look at that guy's back because it has it like written and then scribbled out.
Oh, dear.
And the last storyline.
Elendil?
Oh, fuck.
Who are you going to say?
The dwarves.
Okay, so Elendil, the whole season storyline has been Elendil is the traitor of Pharazôn. The queen is the real queen. And then they tried to make the queen, but then an eagle rocked up and was like, caw! And then some guy was like, Pharazôn's the king. And then everyone's like, shit, I guess Pharazôn's the king. And there's this massive one-on-one conversation between Elendil and the queen. There's not a character-focused reason why either of them really do anything. It's just because they need the queen to get in the water so that another magical creature can say that this person is queen. And I guess sea beast trumps eagle.
Because this one is rooted in their ways.
It's water-based, and they're like, shit. That's literally all that happens in that storyline. They have a big conversation where he says exactly the same stuff that he said every other episode. And then now she's queen, which is exactly back where we were in episode 1.
Yeah. Well, she's queen of the sea now.
They do say that. I don't know if that's
queen
different.
of the sea, and I'm like, is that different to queen of the land?
But Pharazôn looked sad. He's like, oh no.
Can she do that? Did she just do that?
That was so dumb. Basically, the queen is like, you can't murder Elendil. He did it for me.
He did it in my name.
Yeah, which means I can take his punishment. And then Elendil's daughter turns to like the magistrate and goes, she's allowed to do that.
It's in the bylaws.
It's in there. And then the guy's like, yeah, subsection 32, it's allowed. And then Pharazôn's like, damn, they could have just killed him normally. They had to make up some reason to kill him by the magical creature so that she could take his place.
He lived by the old ways. He will die by the old ways.
Just stab him. Just stab him and be done.
Throw him off the big balcony you have.
They also offer him like 5 times. They're like, you sure you don't want to just join us?
Just literally, you don't even have to do anything. Just say the words and we'll let you free. There's no catch.
They're trying to do the Ned Stark thing, I think, where it's like, oh, he's too honorable, but you don't get honor from Elendil. You just get stupidity.
Yes.
Because the smart thing to do would be to say, oh, yeah, I agree. And then like work from the inside.
Start a rebellion.
Yeah, do anything. Whereas at least Ned Stark was fucked from the beginning. Like the whole thing about Ned Stark's death is Ned says, you're right, I repent, don't kill me. And everyone says, okay, we're going to send him to the wall. And then Joffrey, who's a little beep word, says, no, lol, he insulted me, I'm going to lop his head off. And that's everyone panicked. That's the twist there. Whereas here, yeah, the queen's just like, oh, I'll go in the magic water.
Yeah.
And it's so very obvious.
Architect girl who's now, I guess, just like third in line to the king.
She's treating Pharazôn like Sauron. Elendil says, I'm doing this for honor. And then she turns around and goes, yes, Pharazôn said you would say this. Your hate for him has turned into hate for me. And we're just like, that's not what he said at all.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want to be a dick.
He's not the master manipulator, but I know he does be pondering that orb now. The reason I really, really, really hate that daughter character is because she, I guess, saw an opportunity to be in power, which was never her storyline at all. She just wanted to be an architect. She ruined her father's entire life and everything he's ever done, destroyed him, and then tried to, I guess, get the king to give him a Hail Mary, like an okay, you can...
Yeah, because she's the good guy, remember?
It's like she keeps flip-flopping between loving her dad and then she hates her dad to the point where she hates everything he's ever stood for.
And the queen by association.
Yeah, and then now she loves him again and is like crying and clutching onto him and like be like, please, please.
Yeah, what's she going to do now that the queen's the queen? Is she going to be like, oh no, I was wrong?
I'm like, you're literally the reason your entire family's dead.
Yeah, she has way too much of a role considering she was nobody in season 1 and has no function apart from to moderately annoy us, maybe? But
Much like
Disa in the Dwarven storyline, after failing at her job and convincing the king to get the Rings of Power made, she's like, I told you the Rings of Power were evil from the start. We have to get them off your father. And Durin, again, he tries his best. He's trying to carry the show.
there's water running down my rocky face.
We get some emotion from him. We get good acting. It's wonderful. His lines aren't super clunky. It is annoying that there's just 2 people sitting in a room talking once more.
Yeah.
But he's losing his dad. We've at least got an emotional drama there where, like, we can latch on. It's super thin and I don't love it, but it's at least something. It's kind of like the most emotion-driven thing we've got in the entire show.
Like you got it in season 1 a little bit with Galadriel doing it for her brother. Okay, I can see you there, Galadriel.
Yeah, the 1,000-year time gap didn't help that.
Everyone else's motivation, no one else is doing it for love except for Durin.
I don't even know why Sauron's doing it, honestly. He's like, we need to make so many rings. It's to take over, but like, it seems a very roundabout way to take over.
Yeah.
It seems like he could have just made himself a cool ring, gone and killed Adar, taken over the orcs, and then the world.
Yeah.
Like, that seems easier than doing all of this other shenanigans. Maybe if the show bothered to say that I can't do anything myself or the gods will kill me, like, then we'd be like, oh, he has to be sneaky, but he's not being sneaky. Anyway, back to Disa. Disa has decided that they need to get the Ring of Power off Dad, and that's kind of where, that's all that happens.
Yeah.
Am I missing something? They just say the ring is bad, which is exactly what they said last episode.
The king and Durin's relationship is the exact same. They do the same stuff.
Durin last episode, he was like, Dad, take off the ring. They're in the throne room thing. And this episode, he's like, Dad, take off the ring. And he's like, no, except this time the dad pushes him.
Yes. Really strongly though.
Again, it's the Game of Thrones problem we started with. Because we're getting snippets of a storyline, we're getting 1 episode worth of dwarven drama dragged over 8 episodes. Would that be a good way to do the series? Would you watch season 1 of a show, the dwarves, season 2 of a show, the elves, and it's all based around the exact same thing that we're seeing, but we actually get to focus in on each thing instead of popping back and out?
I'd rather just full episodes.
Yeah, true. Like the first 4 episodes, and you could like hint towards the thing, like that way it could all take place in a week, like it seemingly seems to be happening. It's just like, yeah, this is the week from the dwarves' perspective. And then at the end, they're like, we're going to do this. You could have Anatar appear and say, hey, I want Mithril.
Have this character that occurs in all of their stories.
Yeah, have Anatar.
Have him play everybody. He should be playing everybody.
And then you could have the mystery unfold as his plan does. So it's like, we know what he's doing with the dwarves. We don't know what he's doing with everything else. Next episode, we know what he's doing with this group of people. And we're like, oh, maybe that like links up. And then we see another group of people. So we're like, we actually see it unfolding.
Yeah. Or a character finding out the history of all these places. Like have Galadriel, as she's finding out more about Sauron, she goes and visits the hobbits and she visits the dwarves and she visits the Númenóreans. In all of their history, she's reading about this helper of this, like, you know, and then she's like, oh, we have this same kind of person appearing in our lore, you know, and then she's putting it all together.
Again, we don't know enough about the lore. This is probably not possible. You could set this further in the future and you wouldn't run into the problem that Gandalf shouldn't be here yet. You wouldn't run into the problem that, like, all these things shouldn't be happening at the same time. It could be Galadriel through the ages, but each episode is 100 years apart or something. I just want it to be more focused. As is, this show's just so vague and confusing. Like, my wife will never watch this show. She likes the Lord of the Rings movies enough. She's not like, fuck yeah, my favorite movies ever. But she's like, that's a good movie. Whereas with this, it's like, she would just be bored and confused the whole time. I'm mostly bored and confused the whole time.
It's really hard to watch this, please.
We're doing it for you.
It's my birthday today and I had to watch Rings of Power.
Yeah, sorry about that. Can we get a happy birthday for Marko in the chat, please?